I don't know if you actually knew this, but I did have all the Simpsons DVDs because I'd listened to them over and over when I worked at my first job and I had a horrible DVD player. I've listened to the first 12 seasons at least 3 times, and the audio commentaries at least 3 times. So just made the time go by really well. So, and I remember a lot of stories from the audio commentaries. Like one of the writers, when he was a kid in 1970, he was living in Texas. His George Herbert Walker Bush. I think that was the episode where George Bush is the Simpsons neighbor. He says that when George Herbert Walker Bush was governor or senator at the time, he lived down the road in the neighborhood that this writer lived in as a kid. And so for Halloween one time, they decided to prank him by I don't remember what they did exactly.
I don't really have much to contribute other than my neighbors across the street, my high school friend who lived across the street, his family had a lot of Simpsons on DVD. And I would go over their house and watch it sometimes.
So I came home, work from early today. So I wasn't sure if you were actually serious about this podcast thing or not. But definitely count me in. Send me a link. Or I've actually been kind of rekindling my past with The Simpsons. Or rather the DVD set, so yeah, let me know.
Ask Colin. He's the one in charge. It's all his idea, and he's a flake. So unless you hound him, he probably has already forgotten. If assuming this isn't a bit.
Okay, so I have 2 things. One, I'm not a flake. I'm actually extremely dependable. I think I can find multiple people to testify on my behalf. I'm one of the most reliable men on earth. A largely unreliable group. I'm in the 5th percentile of reliableness. Second of all, I was serious. I do want to do this.
Well, generally I take Tuesdays off, so if Tuesday works, that works for me too. I usually get at home around 8 or 9 at night, which would be an hour ahead of your guys' time, or most of your guys' time. In terms of the actual DVDs, though, well, let's see, I'm just trying to think of things off the top of my head from season 1. The title or the menu screen was just simply the episodes, just sort of on a curved sort of thing, like a parenthesis or whatever, and it'd have the episodes, and then there'd be one of the characters they're falling, sort of in a vortex or something, like an overhead shot of them falling down through this vortex, and you just simply scan, select one episode at a time or whatever. I'd have to pop in the disc to actually see for sure, but it was very simple compared to the far later seasons where they're a lot more sophisticated with their menus.
I got a VPN so I can watch the Olympics from broadcasters other than NBC, and I'm just watching the taping of the opening ceremony and watching all the countries with their different outfits enter the stadium, and it's pretty cool.
That's really nice, Parker, but I have to be honest, I really don't care that much. I really only care about Simpsons DVDs.
Yeah, I'm kind of having a hard time finding my season 1 set. It's in here somewhere, but another thing to include is that the DVD sets would come with a booklet that would sort of break down what each episode had in terms of its special features. And they'd have these little symbols, this has an audio commentary, this has an animatic, this has a deleted scene, or they'll just have written down other exclusive little things. I'd actually have to look at this booklet too, because they also summarize the episodes. I have to look at that because once I see the summary or remember the episode, I can probably remember a fun little fact pertaining to it from the audio commentary.
So some interesting things about this opening ceremony, as different countries come out waving flags and wearing cool outfits. They're playing video game music, as they're coming out. Colin, you probably recognize it more than I would, but there's some Final Fantasy stuff like bum, 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 ba-da.
Regarding the Olympics, Parker, if you could not talk about the Olympics, unless perhaps they did a Simpsons Olympics VHS thing or a Simpsons related Olympics DVD, then I'd be slightly more interested because, we could use that for what we're working on. But otherwise, this otaku weeaboo BS, Final Fantasy, Tifa's theme, blah, 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 blah. Keep it to yourself.
Also, now I'm just spitballing here, as sort of maybe like a weird little side companion piece to the physical media of the Simpsons podcast. There's a special feature on season 13 that I absolutely love, where it's like an 11-minute montage of every single Simpsons video game. So I don't know if you'd want to discuss the physical, or the video games for the Simpsons. I mean, I would imagine most are on like whatever, Steam or GOG or something like that. But I don't know, just a thought. Also, at some point we'll have to squeeze in the Simpsons movie, and I do have a few things to say about the physical media for that one too.
I remember the Simpsons movie. It came out a while ago, and I remember being really hyped for it, and I remember having a good time. And how do you remember the run time of the Simpsons movie? Was it like an hour and a half or hour and 45? Because I'm actually like about an hour and 50 minutes. Speaking of running time of this Olympics opening ceremony thing, there's about 2 more hours to go.
Well, this is a kind of weirder little detail in regards of physical media versus streaming. Okay, like first of all, when Disney Plus started, there was the whole controversy that they got the formatting wrong. They got the frame, the aspect ratio incorrect. So, you don't have an issue with that with physical media, unless your TV is weird or something. But I think one thing that makes the experience of having the DVDs versus just simply streaming is the distinction that you pick up on per season. It's like, listening to an album. Like, oh, I like this album from a music group versus that one. But these days, if you just listen to stuff on Pandora or whatever, you don't have that feeling of like, oh, this sound was altogether better than that one. And you might associate certain songs from an album together rather than be their own individual thing. So, for example, I mean, they say, as in like the fans or whatever, every fourth season are the good ones. So season 4, season 8, season 12 at least. But I know what each of those seasons are distinctively because of the fact that I would enclose them in their DVD set. If I were just to stream them, just like, oh, this episode sounds interesting or whatever, it's just like there isn't that sense of enclosure where you connect them all together or whatever. So that's, it's something that I guess older people would like sort of cherish that isn't as appreciated in the streaming era, if you will.
Yeah, and again, like I don't want to talk too much about it right now just because I think this is an interesting conversation that we should probably have on tape. Not about tape. I mean, it should be recorded. But I feel like this project could be, and I know you and I are often at odds about this, but I think this could be an argument for the lost art of DVDs. I mean, even the jump from DVD to Blu-ray, when you look at the menus and the special features, I feel like there's a lot more craft put into DVD menus than with Blu-rays. And so, yeah, I feel like, and I feel like this is something that you're passionate about, and I feel like this is something that you know a lot about. And again, I don't want to talk about it too much right now, but I also don't want to talk about the Olympics. But yeah, I feel like that's probably going to be the core of this project is your passion about that lost art.
It's interesting to me how different countries choose their outfits or choose what they wear, because a lot of them look, really buttoned up and have like really nice suits, and others will have like just polo t-shirts and shorts, or even like t-shirts with a really basic design. And then you'll have things in between where it's like really really cultural wear from other countries, which is kind of like with DVDs to Blu-ray. It's interesting how like much care or maybe less care is put into different formats, adding more quality, but subtracting from the features that were from like other formats.
I just remembered why I can't find my season 1 DVD set. That's because I had a disc separate from the case. I don't know how it became separate, but the disc over time got so scratched up that I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get a new set. So I think I just threw it away. So I just now ordered a new one. So that way the collection can be complete-ish again. So that's good.
I just want to mention that I believe it was Sweden that entered the arena, and they came out with like yellow suits or yellow tracksuits, which is actually the same color as from The Simpsons. Most of the characters are yellow, so that's interesting.
Hey, so as you can hear right now, listening to some Simpsons. I got the season 1 disc going on right now. Ooh, and I just thought of something. I don't know if you want to put the effort into this. Maybe I can do it. But you would probably have to know how to do it. I've heard about this thing called the Wayback Machine, where you can like go back to how websites were 20 years ago or something like that. Just pitching a couple ideas here. I'm going through the Simpsons DVD. One, I wonder if it'd be if it'd be worthwhile, kind of briefly going over the history of home video releases, or just home video technology altogether. Like the fact that TV shows used to release in complete series box sets or season box sets on VHS and these giant things, and we talk about like the start of audio commentaries and deleted scenes and all that kind of stuff. That's something I'm very well familiar with. Another, I don't know if you want to go into the technical side of this, but like, for example, this season 1 DVD, it has an English audio track both in 5.1 and Dolby. And you can like probably go through the difference, and I don't know offhand which one a streaming service would have. Probably 5.1. And if that's the case, will it sound good on a regular old TV? The answer is no, it won't. You got to have it in Dolby. So that's another benefit that the home video release could provide. Okay, I just had an idea for like an intro. In the case of Simpsons, since it's on Disney Plus, my brother tells me that Disney has this option where you can run the app if you're blind, so it like narrates everything. So I was thinking, like, what if we could somehow program it, we can shut the Wi-Fi off, and then it'll say unable to reach service or connection or whatever it would say, and then you hear the sound of somebody placing the disc in the DVD player as it loads up or something, and then like maybe some music can join in or whatever.